what does it feel like to be standing out front guarding LeBron James? I'm like, I can't even describe it, bro. I'm like, it feel like you thinking it does, man. You ain't got no words.
You just hope you miss.
Welcome back to the OGs. It is a Playmaker original presented by DraftKings. We have a true OG in the building today.
Yes.
Had a lot of OG matchups against this in the building today.
One of the true tough guys.
Yes, he is. Gosh damn it. Two-time NBA champion. Three-time All-Star?
No, two-time.
Two-time All-Star? Hey, I don't know what an All-Star is. You know what the All-Star is?
I never made it, kid.
I didn't either.
I never made it.
But we're gonna let him tell. We're gonna let him tell us about it, okay? But we appreciate you coming on, D West, for real. Thanks a lot, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All good, man. Appreciate y'all having me.
Hey, man, D West. First and foremost, I appreciate you doing this, bro. I know, like a lot of times when we competed against each other, obviously, alpha males get in one room. You know what I'm saying? And it get crazy. But obviously, as a basketball player, and not just a basketball player, as a man, I always had a lot of respect for you, bro. So appreciate you taking the time, dog.
Oh, yes, sir, bro. All good, man. It's all in the nature of the sport, bro.
Yes. So let's get into it, man. We talk about coming out of Xavier, 18th pick, and you go and you have an opportunity early, play with Chris Paul. Just talk about that and how that kind of molded your career, because probably, if not the greatest, one of the greatest point guards that ever played the game. So just talk about early on in your career, just having one of those guys like that get you the ball in position, just making things easier for you.
Yeah. So, I got drafted to New Orleans in 2003. So I was in that really one of the top drafts or whatever.
Elite draft, by the way. Elite draft.
Yeah, you can say that again.
Yeah, when I knew I was going to New Orleans, I kind of just bought in, to the vision of the team, if you will. We had a new coach, Tim Floyd, my rookie year, and that experience, really woke me up to the reality of the NBA because I was on like the oldest team in the league, and Tim Floyd being a younger, coming from college, didn't have a lot of success in Chicago. It was hard to get through to a team of 33, 34, 35-year-old vets. So that year was ups and downs. We made it to the playoffs and lost to Miami in the first round. And then we, they went in a different direction. Brought in Coach Scott, who was coming from Jersey with the Nets, I think they went like back-to-back finals or something like that. And so with him, he just kind of put that battery in my back. And then in my second year, had some injuries, had a bad knee injury. But that whole year was just about me, kind of figuring out my next, sort of the way to carve out a career for myself or whatever. So we knew we were going to draft a point guard because in that draft was a bunch of point guards, but mainly like Darren Williams or CP. So we knew it was going to be one of them. And then, I think, management kind of let everybody on that they were going to draft Chris. So, Chris and I knew each other because of Coach Prosser, who he played for at Wake Forest, and I played for Xavier. So there was a little familiarity there. And then, when he came to the team, it was just about figuring out, how to find a way to be successful with this dude on the floor. Because he, the way he played and his speed and his ability to find people, he was an assist hunter. So, he's making the game easy for everybody.
I always kind of you kind of had the game that I was jealous of. Like I always wanted to get the ball in a 15-foot face up, go to work. I always wanted to get in that pick and roll and just. I was a role player, so obviously my scoring was basically depending on what the game called for. But I always admired the game that you had. You had that game that I always wanted to be able to play on a consistent level. But just talk about, your game. Is that what you played like in high school? or is that something that you just developed over the years? That 15-footer, that face up, the nice touch, and all that. Like I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I know your game because I had to guard you.
Right.
So I know your game, but you always had that game. I say, damn, if I was like a guy who got the ball, this is how I would like to play.
Right.
Let's talk about your game and just soaking into that, because you came in when power forwards was like real power forwards. Like when you came in the league when they had real power forwards. But did you pattern your game after anybody?
Well, so man, it's weird. So I didn't play like the way I played in the NBA. You know, I didn't play like that in high school.
Okay.
Or really in college. Like in college, I scored over like 2,000 points, and I mean I joke about it, but I promise you probably like 1,800 were within 8 feet. Like everything was just at the basket. So it wasn't until I got to the NBA and I could make plays like 17 feet and in, you know, a college 3-point line and in, but I wasn't like super athletic. I just had a sneaky long wingspan, so people underestimated, you know, my wingspan. Like I got a 7'4" wingspan, so that was always a advantage that people didn't realize until they started playing against me. So that's how I was able to get my shot off without having to jump so high and all that, was because when I got the full extension, you know, I had usually had a little bit more on my shot than most people could get to. So that was one thing. But then I developed the ability to shoot really in the NBA. I was getting knocked around my first couple years because I was light. I came in the draft, I was 226, and I worked.
That don't even sound right, by the way. You
like,
got pushed around.
I worked hard to get that heavy for the draft, because at that time, like, you couldn't play the power forward position without being 245, 250, 260.
Not 2003. That was 7-footers up for him, man.
You know what I'm saying? So, I had to change, because I was getting knocked around trying to knock people over at 220, 225 is not working. So, that summer after my second year, I just started shooting. Like, I mean, just literally just got in the gym with my man G, who's a development guy, and we just got in the gym and we just started making shots, like literally 300 some days, 400, 500, 600, 700.
Speaking my language,
no fancy
West.
drills, just straight catching, shooting the ball, until I felt like I had the type of muscle memory where if I just let it go, I think it's going in. So that was something that I just had to do, you know. And then I watched Kenny Gaddison gave me some Karl Malone videos, and those Karl Malone videos kind of gave me the context of like how he used to do it and where he used to shoot the ball from. So I just copied that, and I just started shooting the ball. So to be honest with you, it wasn't nothing but just taking the time out 3-4 days a week during the summer and just shoot the ball, have somebody willing to rebound and pass to you, but like that was it. So the other stuff, you know, the big shoulder and stuff, that stuff came as I got heavier. Like, it wasn't until, I mean, like, if you look at my stuff in New Orleans, a lot of the stuff is off the bounce. It's the catch and shoot. It's the shot, fake and go left and get back right. And then when I get to Indiana, I'm like, okay, I'm a little heavier now, so I could use the big shoulder and move people around. But like that was the way that my game kind of evolved. It's just a necessity. Like, I had to figure out a way to be successful.
I just remember you as the Hornets, because one time I was playing in New Orleans. You threw me in the stanchions so goddamn hard, I still can't remember what had happened.
No.
I said, gosh, damn, I'm still laying on the floor.
Hey, listen, D West, what they don't understand is when we first came into the league, like, the power forward position was the most petrifying position in the league. You had Chris Webber one night. You had Tim Duncan one night. You have a young Elton Brand. You have Kevin Garnett. You have Dirk Nowitzki. You would get your ass tore up at the power forward position. Oh my gosh, Sharif Abdul-Rahim.
Sharif was a problem.
Like
Pau Gasol.
Like
Gasol. Literally.
In Memphis.
Yeah.
Pau in Memphis.
Yes, bro. Like
Amari
Stoudemire. Gazebo.
I mean, and then you had Blake Griffin and LaMarcus come in, Scola in Houston, Juwan Howard.
Man,
Scola.
There were a lot of guys at that position. There was literally no night off.
Bro, it was
defenders.
petrifying.
See, the other part is there were defenders at that position, like Kenny Thomas, Kurt Thomas.
Wow.
Remember them
Kurt
dudes?
Thomas, yes.
Like them dudes could guard. They could, UD, you were one of those guys that could guard the position. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Guard the guys. Right?
Out of fear, D West. If you didn't bring it, you will get your ass tore up. And that was around the time where you had to guard your yard or you was coming out. If they're going to go at you every time till the coach take you out.
You got to prove you can stop it. Exactly.
Yes. So literally, I competed so hard because I knew if I didn't, get your ass embarrassed.
It still doesn't explain why it threw me in the stanchion so damn hard.
Oh,
all I remember is D-West.
I think I got suspended for that.
All I remember in the back of my head still is Carpe Diem because that's the cap. It's your tattoos on your calf. Because I was like Tweety.
Mike, you hit me in the back of my head, bro.
Damn, Mike, you hit him in the back of the head.
I probably hit him with cheap shot.
You hit me in the back of my head, and you did it twice. Because I came across the middle to score, I think, and you like kind of, I was like, yo, man, did you do that? And then the next time, I was like, yo, bro, you did that on purpose. I'm almost sure that's how it went down.
Hey,
that sounds about right.
I was just trying to commit a hard foul, and then you dipped, so it just looked a lot worse than it actually.
Hey, that story started to come together a little better. Probably true.
Right.
But he hit me so damn hard, bro. They said, is everything good? I just said, Carpe Diem. Carpe Diem.
Hey, all would aside, because it's not just that. If you remember the second time we played y'all in the playoffs, you beat the shit out of Shane.
Oh, Indiana? Oh, yeah. Shane still can't walk. Shane still can't walk. You're on the other side, so you ain't going to hear the story. We used to be like, Shane, you all right, bro?
Bro, listen.
You him up.
He used to come to the locker room. We used to just look at him, D. West.
Get your ass in the ice tub.
We used to look at him, and we used to look at each other like, boy, we don't know how much more he can take.
Shane on his last leg. Batman on his last leg for real.
Oh my God.
Hey, D West, those Indiana teams y'all had though. Gosh, damn, we had some wars.
Man,
yeah, nah, for sure, man. Like we tried everything. You know, that was the thing with us, man. Like the one thing about Coach Vogel, right, was like he had this weird, but he has this gift of like he's just pumping energy into you. Like he's it's almost like he's just constantly gassing you. And so he really would push me to that line, like, yo, get there. As soon as you can, get there. And I'm like, well, you just get there. Like, whatever that is, get there. So he's like, that's one of the advantages we have. So he'd be like, beat these up. Just beat them up. And just get there. So he would, that's the way we played. It gave us a shot. Again, every year you got one team that wins, but typically you got 3 or 4 championship contending teams. So I felt like, for those years we were in Indy, we were one of those teams that, if things break the right way, we probably have a shot at a title.
I mean, y'all were the team who obviously, between you guys and Boston, but I always
Chicago.
knew.
That East was a...
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I always knew, like, whoever would win between us was probably going to win the East. Like, so, right. I mean, that was no disrespect to Boston, but the physicality, that was what y'all brought, and we always knew, like, we got to lace him up.
Yeah. That's when I thought first. I mean, I knew he wasn't human, but that's when I first knew LeBron really wasn't human. It was the Indiana series, because he would have to end up guarding every position on your floor. When Shane would be crippled, he'd go guard you. When PG or Danny Granger get going, he'd go guard them. Right? Like I was like, this dude's all over the place. And that, to me, in playoff basketball, to have that luxury was unbelievable. But that's when I remember that, because we did talk about it. That Shane Battier story is funny. Batman's my dog.
Used to beat that shit.
But you beat his ass. Oh my God.
Right. But now those series, man, it was like, there were moments where we really thought, we were like, man, we got you guys. Like, we got them. And then I remember, like, the first year, I think this was the conference semis, and we had. This is when you guys lost to Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals, but we went up 2-1, and it was Spo and D Wade had their little spat. They were like yelling at each other going to the bench, and I'm like, oh, we got them. Like, I just knew, like, that was the crack in the armor. But then, like, that next game, man, it was like D Wade and Bron went to a level,
Yes.
and that's where we all were like, if we're gonna beat these guys at some point over these next few years, we're gonna have to do some really, really, really crazy stuff, because we all felt that them take it to that level. Like, damn, like we felt that like LeBron playing in like that desperation mode.
Yeah.
That's the mode that like we felt he was most dangerous.
It's funny you say
if
that.
he's just out there like he could cook you and get going, we're like, okay, he might. But if he feels like he's really threatened, like that, the energy that you got to put to stop just the smallest shit, right? Like when he's just driving, just downhill, 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 downhill. The ability to break, like when we would get to Miami, there would be a point where we like, yo, if they start running in here, we're done.
Yeah.
And we up and make a mistake here, a mistake there, and boom, next thing you know, that like 18-0 run, lobs and threes and dunks and ones. So, for us, man, it was just we tried to find that moment to break, one of the all-time great teams. We just couldn't break through.
It's funny you say that, because I'll never forget the come to Jesus we had in the hotel with the game he's talking about. Because we were kind of in shambles a little bit. Like there was some bickering going on, and we had that players only. And those dudes came out, like you said, desperate, though. And it was a different level of basketball, man.
Yeah,
like it was
man.
watching a movie. Crazy.
I mean,
nuts. And their numbers were insane that
I
game.
know.
It was like something stupid.
yeah. The one thing we did, and we knew this, that they could go to a level that nobody else could go to. You know what I'm saying? So all we had to do was just defend and play hard. Like, once they went to that level, and I tell people this all the time, because I made this conversation the other day. I was talking about Jimmy Butler. I was talking about how Jimmy is the smartest offensive player I've been around. This takes nothing away from Dwayne and D Wade, but they just could go to a level that other people couldn't go to. Jimmy is very calculated. He has to be calculated. He has to, if you have a weakness, he has to find it. If you have if you make a mistake, he has to exploit it. Bron and D Wade, it don't matter what your weakness is.
Right.
They're gonna go to the level they're gonna go to.
Right.
And they're gonna leave your ass at the 5th floor while they go to the 7th and 8th.
Right.
So it was nothing that I was knocking against D Wade and Bron. It's just that they're that gifted. You know what I'm saying? And Jimmy has to be a little more calculated. You know what I'm saying? But I'm happy you brought that up, because they literally can go to a level that it don't matter what kind of defense you play.
It
don't matter what your scheme is.
I don't really like when somebody talks about Bron, or talks, even though I'm like, yo, if you've never stood across them, like when they're in desperation mode, bro, like my brother, I swear to God, bro, my older brother, right, he's very introspective. So he calls me one day in the middle of one of those series, right? He called me, he goes, yo, how you doing? I go, I'm good. He goes, I gotta ask you this. He's like, what does it feel like to be standing out front guarding LeBron James? Because we had this point where, like, end of the shot clock, we're going to switch. So the game before, it was like, it happened like 2 or 3 times where I'm just out there on the island, against him, just trying to force him 2 or 3. And my brother's like, yo, what does that, he's like, yo, what does that feel like? I'm like, I can't even describe it, bro. I'm like, it feel like you thinking it does, man. You ain't got no words. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to figure something out.
And that was it's amazing what he's doing now at 40 years old, obviously. But that Miami level of athleticism and strength was just different. Man. I mean, like you said, bro, when we ran at home or we got going,
bro, I mean, he was just running. I'm like, yo,
he was
like,
so
just dunking,
fast and athletic,
physically focused. We just a savant of the game, man. I mean, that's all he is, right? It's like somebody just has the physical tools, but also that mental gift to just boom. If you're here, he can go here and then here.
Playoff basketball is here, and there is still plenty of game left to be played. Don't miss a second of hoops action with my partners at DraftKings Sportsbook. From every game day until the trophy is lifted, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered with same-game parlays, odds boost, and so much more. Here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code OGs. The crown is yours. Stay in on the action and use your $200 in bonus bets on DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Combine multiple bets together from the same game. Love the thrill of live betting? DraftKings has got you covered. Bet live on in-progress games right as they happen, making watching the game that much more exciting. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Pick 6 and have the shot to win cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers, use my promo code OGs and bet just $5 on any wager to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code OGs only at DraftKings Sportsbook. What time is it? Game time. My favorite stretch of basketball season is here, the playoff push. Nothing like sitting in some courtside seats watching your favorite player ball out. Game time makes getting tickets faster and easier, even for hard-to-get playoff seats. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to tip-off. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA playoff tickets. My favorite part on the Game Time app is the view from all seats in the venue. Lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, job loss protection, etc., etc., etc. And the last minute deals are incredible. Save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, and theater. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code OGs for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code OGs for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. What time is it? Here is a dirty little secret that insurance industry may want to keep under wraps. Insurance companies profit by holding on to your money for as long as possible. So after an accident, they might do whatever they can to delay or deny your claim. This way, they can keep those profits growing. Morgan & Morgan fights hard against these corporations to fight to make sure you get every dollar you deserve. When in court, the insurance companies want juries to think that at-fault driver is the one paying the verdict amount. Meanwhile, it's really the insurance companies who are covering the cost. When Morgan & Morgan takes on a case, they're almost always going after the big insurance companies and not the individuals at fault. Morgan & Morgan fights hard for their clients, and these corporations know that. A recent client in Pennsylvania just received $29 million. That's $29 million. Insurer's best offer was $500,000. Another recent client in Florida received $20 million. Last offer, zero. There's a reason why Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury firm. Hiring the wrong firm can be disastrous. Hiring the right firm could substantially increase your settlement. With Morgan & Morgan, it's easy to get started, and their fee is free unless they win. Just visit forthepeople.com/OGs or dial #law 529. That's forthepeople.com/OGs or dial #law 529. This, my friends, is a paid advertisement. UD, I know you're an avid golfer now.
You goddamn right I am.
I know you have a membership at a golf course.
I like spending my time out on the golf course with them left-handed cigarettes.
Yeah. I know you have a membership at a golf course. What's the name of that membership or the golf course you remember at?
Hollywood Hills.
Woo! He got it. He got it. Well, they aren't playing they're not playing the PGA Championship in 2025 at your golf course, but it's going to be epic. On May 15th, we got ourselves a doozy. PGA Championship Futures presented by DraftKings. I cannot not go with Rory McIlroy.
I'm just going to ask a question.
Okay, ask one.
So is this PGA or Live?
It's PGA. This is a major. This is a major.
So if it's PGA, I can pick. Because if it's Live, I'm going to stay out of that. If it's Live, I ain't with it.
Who you got? DeChambeau?
I'm going to go Justin.
Ooh, I love JT. You know I f with JT.
I'm going to go Justin.
I like JT too.
No!
Yeah, $1,800. That's good. That's good. You're making a lot of money.
I'm going Brooks.
You're going Brooks.
I'm going Brooks.
Ooh.
Don't he got a house like in like West Palm or something?
Yeah. Brooks right around the corner.
Brooks, I with you. And Brooks odds are 1,800. So if you bet 100, you win 1,900. People, that is a $1,800 bonus.
Woo-wee.
You do a lot with that,
man.
And you
Justin,
came that one
Justin
out
right
again.
around
I
the
think
corner
Brooks
too.
is real cool with Kyle.
Justin,
Kyle, I heard a lot about you through Kyle Brooks. I'm going with you.
Justin's in Jupiter, I believe. Nashville and Jupiter.
Yeah, I know, but and they got the same odds, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So this strictly off preference.
Yeah. Who you like?
Ooh.
Can we parlay here? That's the question. Can we go? Can we go to the? We should do like the win place and with like the horse race. I'm going. I do like Bryson DeChambeau in this too.
Really?
I got two picks. Yeah.
I'm going Justin and Brooks.
Rory. The only concern I have with Rory is the man just
He just
won the major.
So you think
he got the career grand slam.
But what would you do if you just?
No, I put foot to gas.
Yeah,
foot to gas.
Belt the ass.
Yeah, belt the ass.
Foot the gas.
Belt the ass. Belt the ass. They got all kinds of things happening.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I mean.
I'm gonna go Rory and Brooks. I'm trying to make a little bread. I need some cheese.
You got Rory Brooks. I got Rory. I got Rory Bryson DeChambeau. Rory Bryson DeChambeau. DraftKings.
The OGs.
The PGA 2025, man. Y'all better tune in.
We know
the OG promo code.
The OGs.
That's right.
And we know what we talking about.
Go win some money, man.
So I know we talked about Indiana, and we're talking a lot about Indiana, but I really want to touch on some of the OGs because you had a chance to play with Steve Smith, you had a chance to play with PJ Brown. These are some of the OGs that I still today have conversations with, pick their brain, and respect a lot about them. Just the impact that they were able to have on you, you know what I'm saying, is you could talk about it, but I know what they've been able to do for me. You know what I'm saying? Right. Just the mental part and the approach of the game. But just talk about Smitty, man, and PJ and what they meant to you.
Yeah, so like I said, man, I came in, I was on the oldest team in the league, bro. I had literally, you mentioned Smitty and P, but I had Stacey Augman, George Lynch,
Plastic Man,
Carl Armstrong. Yeah,
Hey, D, before you go on though,
Sean Rooks, Tractor Trailer.
I think what you said there is so important though for these kids that are coming in now.
Man,
you came in as one rookie, and you had 30-year-old men as your freaking locker roommates.
Right.
Now you're coming in. These guys are coming in with 3 rookies, and the guy next to him's 21. So you're basically college. Because that's the same thing. I had Patrick Ewing, Horace Grant, Grant Hill. I had real Daryl Armstrong, like real OGs. Monty Williams, right? Like, I like that. Talk about that because that's so different coming in the league that way than it is now.
Yeah. So they were beyond all the too. So they were like no nonsense. Like, young fella, if you wanna play 10+ years, do this. Like, and they all 13, 12, 10, 11, 12. They all deep into it. So, it was like, all right, I'm gonna do it. So they would tell me stuff like Stacey Augman's the one that got me sitting down on the end of the bench. It's like, because he says a lot of politicking and chatter going on up there. You need to sit down here so you can learn.
Yes.
And I would sit down there, especially my rookie year when I wasn't playing a whole lot. I'd be sitting down listening to them conversate about the game. Them telling me, yo, man, a lot of these dudes ain't going to dunk the ball early on in the game, young fella. So you should challenge shots. When you get in there early, challenge shots early in the game because some of these boys ain't warmed up yet. And he used to give me little gems like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would watch them prepare and then watch them toward the end of their career still be, still have nights where they could just catch fire. Like Smitty could get going. Even, his last year playing. I mean, Smitty could get going. We watched, George Lynch and rebounding and taking care of his body. And, PJ just kind of being a consummate professional, like the steady one in the locker room, which I probably learned the most from P because it's just about coming to work every day. He's like, man, you can get caught up in the other stuff, but like, the basis is to come in here, work, respect what you do so others can respect what you do, and just handle your business. He was very open. He's like, you here to replace me, Wes. He's like, it may not be this year, but that's what you're here for. So I got to make sure you're ready for that.
Man, that's a real OG.
We would practice. He just showed me everything, man. Showed me how to stay in the league and showed me how to handle myself.
I'm happy you brought that up about sitting at the end of the bench, and I get it. A lot of times coaches want the young players to the front and they want to talk to them and they want to be in their ear. But I've always liked to sit at the end of the bench so I can see everything. I don't want to be fraternizing with the coach, but I also want to have conversations with all of my guys about what's going on the court.
Right.
So I always took that end of the bench spot. So if I had anything to say, I could just look down that line or walk and say what I got to say and go back. But all that sitting up there with the coach and all that, I ain't all that politicking. Yeah, I ain't doing all that, man.
Yeah,
and we also watching who sit by the coach too. Cause you is the one we got to keep an eye on. You the one wearing the wire. Yeah, sitting up there with the coach all the goddamn time.
You was wearing the wire?
No, I wasn't. You was.
I was a fan.
You was a fan? Yeah, you was. You was a fan. And you got my boy Young Birdman. How was that? How was Young Bird?
Oh man, let me tell y'all something, man.
That sounds like crazy. The same bird we got.
We got the same bird you got there.
Yeah, but see, we had Bird, man. Bird was going through it, man. And shout out to Bird, man. Dog, he was his authentic self, man. So he had to learn a lesson, obviously. But like, man, Bird was wide open. He'd be in. Bird's the only guy. I swear to God, this is a true story. We would be doing 3-man weave, and in some. You ever been in the gym where the scorer's table is out, but the bleachers are back, so there's space behind the scorer's table? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yo, Bird used to run behind the scorer's table when we were running 3-man weave. Like, just to show, like, he was flying high. He was in better shape than everybody. This dude would be booking it. I'm talking about going. We're like, all right, Bird. All right, like he would just be out there. We in Oklahoma. Bird is wearing wife beaters. He's getting tatted up. But he in Oklahoma. It's 10 degrees outside.
Oh Lord.
Oh yeah. I mean, he was wide open with us, bro. He was wide open. So he was a little bit more calm when he was with you guys.
Okay.
I tell you what, if he was a little calm with us,
but
he
that
was
Bird
wide
we
open.
got was wild. He's a wild boy.
Got that cup of mud.
Your cup of mud. That man had 7 cups of coffee for the game called cup of
17.
mud.
Yeah. 17.
Every time you walk in, use a cold ass honky. Paul George dunked on his ass so nasty in the playoffs. Remember that?
Hey man, why you want to bring that up?
Because I love Bird.
Damn man.
Bird.
I think that's when they took game 1. Did they take game 1 in Miami? Y'all took game 1 in Miami, right? Oh, y'all took game 2.
I think it was game 2.
Yeah. That was when he dunked on Bird. They took game 2 in Miami.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna tell you, D West. I know how y'all felt on y'all side, but on our side, we was a little. We can say it now. We was a little shaky. It was a house of cards.
That's all we tried. That's all we hoped for. Like we could put that pressure on, to try to sneak one for real.
That whole East though, man. I'm telling you, like. You guys, Boston, Chicago, it was all physical brands of basketball. I mean, it was a gosh damn. That was tough.
Yeah, it was a different, and it was just it was a very thin line, like between we experienced this in the West, and then it happened while I was in the East. But like in the West one year, we had, everybody won 50 plus games.
I was part of that. I was in Memphis at the time. Everyone won 50 games. 50 games was like a 7 seed.
So, we had been used to like them kind of tight playoff battles, but in the East, we were thinking the same thing. Like, the divisional games for us meant a lot. Fighting with Chicago, obviously trying to keep pace with because the Knicks with Melo and them, they had built a tough group too. So, trying to stay in the hunt for one of those top 1 or 2 or 3 spots in the East. So we could be positioned to potentially make a deep run, was all that we had on our focus. And then when we realized, like, okay, we weren't, because we kind of gave ourselves like some measuring sticks, how we fared against the best teams, how many teams we could beat in the West, and how many of those, how it is. You go on those road trips and you win 5 or 6 games out West. You're like, okay, we might be on to something. So we did that early on. And then the confidence grew from there for us as a group.
Talk to us about Golden State. So you go play Golden State. Obviously,
hello.
You got more?
Yeah. So the Warriors, man, the Warriors was a great experience for me, right? Obviously, won championships, and I'll tell you, man, like this real, like I went. There would be a moment every one of those series, bro, where I would be standing on the free throw line, and I'm like, we lost to these again 3 years in a row. And I'd be standing on that free throw line looking at facing Miami's bench. And I would always make eye contact with James Jones. And he would have this smirk on his face. That would be like, good try, but you didn't. Yeah, I thought you had, like, that smirk used to drive me crazy. And so when I got to Golden State, I'm like, this is it. Like you feel this level of like, you've got the group to win it. You know what I mean? It's not like it was in Indiana where we're like, we got a lot of things have to go right. With the Warriors, it was like, we just can't f this up. Like we got to be, people don't realize like that environment. Obviously when I was in Indiana, we had an environment like this, but that winning environment, there's no letdown. So every single day, foot is on the gas, every shoot around, every video session, every weight room session, every practice, every city that we go into, there's like this seriousness that you're carrying yourself with because you've got this really, really high expectation of yourself. So, we were able to put it together. Like, and that a lot of people say, well, your team was super talented. It was, but y'all been in NBA locker rooms. Yes. The ego is crazy.
Yes.
And so being able to keep everybody's ego in check and everybody kind of get on the same page, have this kind of professionalism and this continuity that would all but ensure we're going to give ourselves the best shot to win it. So having gone through that experience twice was great. Being able to learn and watch these guys preparing, but really watch the championship level of preparation from the coaches and all that stuff. It was really a good learning experience for me. You know what I'm saying? It's like I've been coaching AAU for like 20 plus years now, man. So I really like, working with young people. So I was able to use a lot of that and like, develop my own style and coaching style, basketball philosophy. I got all that my last 5, 6, 7 years in the NBA. That's what it became about for me. It was really just becoming a basketball guy, learning as much as I could, retaining as much as I could, taking notes, keeping scouting reports, all that. Just so I could have this knowledge base for basketball that I use when I'm coaching young people.
Yeah, to me it sounds like they have a culture, and I'm always interested because I know if you're a team that wins consistently, there is a culture. I only know what the Miami Heat culture is. I've only been around that, but you know from afar, Golden State has a culture. You know what I'm saying? And it could be different, but I'm happy you touched on that because the success that they have and the things they speak on. Steph, you got a chance to be around Steph. You got a chance to be around KD. These guys are not great just by accident. They ain't just throwing at the wall to see if it stick, man. Just talk about the work ethic, you know what I'm saying, and the professionalism that those two guys have. And do you think that KD got a little bit too much of us, flack for, coming to Golden State?
Hell yeah, he did. I'll answer that.
Right. Well, I'll say this, man. Like, first time I saw Steph work out, and I usually try to see what guys are doing and try to say, hey, man, I could tell this to a young kid, see if he can do it. None of that was applicable. Like, the level of difficulty that he puts himself through, like, you couldn't ask no kid to do none of that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you couldn't.
That's real.
I mean, it's just, I'm like, what am I, like, just the ridiculous amount of makes you got to, you know what I'm saying? Like, the numbers, like, you got to make 25 straight and they all got to be, I'm like, damn. Bro, like, you know how long it would take somebody to do this stuff that he's doing in a minute, 2 minutes, hitting 50 straight threes and then moving and all this other type. Like, it's bananas. So it was, it's no secret why he's the way he is, right? He just works at that level. Just like all of those guys. All the great guys have that level of work ethic that, a lot of us are like, damn, you get to a point where you're like, well, I can't do that. And that's just past the limits of my, who I am. Like, I just can't, you literally can't do some of the stuff that some of these guys do, the 4 a.m. workouts, and then, you just getting the reps and the type of reps and the shooting proficiency. All of that stuff. So seeing all of that kind of locked in, and then, they never took days off. Like, they were in the gym, Clay and Steph in the gym all the time. KD, and I'm like, damn, like, this is why. Like, this is why they shoot the ball like this. This is why they can bang off. The first time I was in there with KD, I remember this. The first time we looked at the stat sheet, and both them motherfuckers shot like 13, 14 threes apiece. And we looked at this, I said, damn. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but you can't question it. You know what I'm saying? Because they literally getting 500-600 makes after shoot around, and then 300-400 makes before the game, and then 600 makes after practice and before, like, just constantly. So you're like, all right, well, bet. Some games we're gonna shoot 18 threes.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm looking at it like, man, in Indiana, 18 threes is like 3 games worth. You know what I'm saying? We when I was in New Orleans, we'd look at if Page had shot like 4 or 5 threes, we'd be like, damn, Page, you was jacking this today, bro. Like,
4 or 5.
There's 5 or 6 threes, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Today these guys shoot that in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Extendo.
I haven't been around Steph to see his work, but obviously you see it at levels. I've been around KD in the summertime. I think the most important thing for any young player is to see those guys work and actually get workouts with those guys, because it's an eye-opening, like you're saying. Like, I watched KD, he's year 16, 17. I was with him last summer. I brought Paulo out there to work with him. It's like, yo, see every rep. Every rep's a game rep. And it's the same thing every day. The dude's a hoop junkie. Like, that dude is just a basketball savant. Like, he loves it, but that's why he scores so easy. He's the easiest scorer I've ever seen. I love the way he plays.
Right.
You had some time to spend in San Antonio with Pop. And Pop is always so fascinating to me, because before I signed with the Miami Heat, the San Antonio Spurs was actually the first team to offer me a contract. They offered me a 1-year deal, and the Heat came back and offered me a 2-year deal. So I took the longer deal and signed with Miami. But I was excited when Pop was the first one to sign me, and I was excited for the opportunity to play for Pop. You know what I'm saying? Never got that chance, but just tell me, how was that playing for Pop? His basketball mind, how he holds you accountable. Is anything you was able to learn from Pop that you can use now?
Oh yeah, that year was like going to basketball college, man. Like, that training camp, it was. They had, a lot of the fired coaches were there during that training camp, and they would just sit and watch practice, take notes. It's like, I remember Tibbs was down there, and Del Negro was down there, like the guys who were kind of in between, jobs or whatever as coaches. So it's literally like basketball. It was like basketball school in there, bro. Like, they got whiteboards everywhere, and, instructions and just regimen, doing stuff. And then a lot of drill work, station work, like a very rigid structure, but it was great. It was great basketball. And a great opportunity to play. I was a Spurs fan when I was younger, Tim Duncan fan, David Robinson fan. So the opportunity to go play, and be in that environment for a year at that point in my career, where I was just trying to have great experience and play some good basketball, it was good. And then, when you're competing against that machine for all these years, I was competing against them for years, just getting inside the machine and seeing how well it was operated and really what made it tick, man, was like, damn. And obviously you realize, like, the players made it go. They had 3, all-time greats in TD and Tony and Manu. So with those 3 buying in, it gave them like the engine to just, plug and play for 5 championships. And so they were just a dominant force, so it was something I wanted to experience, and definitely a great learning experience.
He said it was like basketball school.
I love that. Trust me, bro. I was so excited for the opportunity to sign with San Antonio to play for Pop my first year. Yeah. Literally, that's all I wanted to do, is soak up all the game I could.
When you said that, it reminded me of when I played in Memphis with Hubie Brown. That's how I felt with Hubie. Felt like basketball school. And the reason it sounded like that was because the structure, basically the setup, all the coaches came, because in 30 minutes you learn more about the basketball game than most people forget. You know what I mean? Like that's how they are.
Right.
They're geniuses when it comes to basketball and organization of it, and they get the players to do what they tell them to do. It's elite.
Right.
So you say you've been coaching that AAU circuit, man. Talk about
Garner
that,
Road.
because you're one of those guys that, like, you know, we don't hear much about you. You know what I'm saying? But obviously we know what you're doing. Sonny tells me what you're doing, and I hear about it. But overall, you know what I'm saying, people don't hear. So just talk about what you're doing now and the impact that you have with the youth.
Man, so, you know, I played for Garner Road when I first moved to North Carolina back in '96.
Say it again.
It was
Killer, because you said it. What you said it?
Garner Road.
Garner Road?
Yeah.
So
Garner
you know
Road,
about
yeah.
it.
Garner
Yeah, it's his
Road.
AAU program.
I know, but you know about it too.
Oh yeah, hell
Okay,
yeah.
so the agent know about it too.
Yeah.
So y'all must be pretty good then, D West.
No, he always
we decent,
he always,
man. So,
he always
you know,
keeps a whip. He always keeps a whip.
It's a special place, man. I played there, and then when my brother got into leadership in the early 2000s, and that was right when I would come back home in the summer from college, I would always go play there and play pickup on Saturdays and Sundays there. So when my brother got into the leadership, it was only natural. Like, I started tagging along with him, and the crazy thing is, like, I started meeting kids that were in the NBA, right? So, like, Kyle Anderson is the first kid I remember meeting. Ask Kyle, he'll tell you. He was 9 years old. And I saw...
Wait a minute. Which Kyle Anderson we talk about?
Slow-mo.
Really?
Slow-mo.
He was 9 years old?
I met Slow-mo, yes, in Cocoa Beach, Florida, I believe.
Wow.
And it was a trip because Slow-mo was in...
Great
I ended
guy,
up
by
playing
the
with
way.
Slow-mo in San Antonio
Great
that
guy.
1 year. And he was like, yo, you remember that? I was like, yeah, I remember that. And I saw him grow up. I saw a lot of kids because I was just fascinated going to the games. It was a great way to, like, learn the game, see the game in a different way. And, like, you know, my nephew was playing, my brother's coaching. Like, I started developing relationships with, you know, some of the kids. I'm like, yo, like, you really got a shot. So I would just start working with them. My brother started letting me work the practices. So I'm literally getting drills from the NBA and coming here and working with the kids. And then I met TJ Warren at like 11. And then I was like, oh, nah, this kid got a shot. So I started just, like, you know, working with that group a lot. And there were other kids in the program that I just, you know, wanted to pour into. So, you know, we got a really good, strong legacy, you know, that this is like our 35th year of being around. It was founded in 1990.
Wow.
You know, and so, you know, we've been at the helm here now almost 20-something years now. So it's been a really, really positive experience. You know what I'm saying? It's just a way for me to stay connected with young people. I love coaching and working with young people. Partly is, you know, when I was in college, Coach Prosser, he used to make us work his basketball camps. So he would be like, yo, y'all got to learn how to coach, how to run practice, how to, you know, run plays. And so he really held us accountable in the summer with that. So that's where I developed it. And I've just been locked in ever since. It's a great way to stay around the game, stay active, be in the gym with the kids, you know, and just, again, pour out what I've learned over these years and try to help them get better and improve.
Just so you know, I haven't watched his AAU program play in a couple of years, but they played just like you think they would if they were from him.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
They got that
Kind of
identity,
the same way
brother.
my team would play.
Right.
Yeah. They got that identity,
I like
brother.
that. I like that. I mean,
Yeah, you got to.
It's crazy because when you said Kyle Anderson, I had to make sure we was talking about the same Kyle because I thought all of us was the same age.
Kyle just moved like a.
I thought all of us was the same age.
Yeah, he moved like it.
Kyle
but
just
Kyle's
moved
a
like
young
that.
dude, man. He's a young dude.
No, he's a good dude too, man. He's
Yeah,
with the Heat right now, and since he's been traded to the Miami Heat, I could tell just his impact that he's had on the team, not just on the court, but off the court as well with his leadership and just being a good guy in the locker room. He's one of those
Yeah, he's a
guys.
good dude.
Hey, do you mind if we fire a couple of fan questions at you?
Yeah, what's up?
All right. At Heat Muse, favorite memory during the Heat Pacers rivalry?
So I would say probably the highest moment was when we felt that desperation. So that was when I saw D Wade yelling at Spo and Spo yelling back. They have to be separated. That was probably the highlight of that whole series because I was like, nah, we got him. Like we got to him, you know. And sometimes, and he's dealing with a great that Miami Heat organization, but then those players, all of that, it was like a great moment. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? In basketball history. So to be able to, have, ruptured that a little bit, put a little bit of doubt in there it was a great feeling for us. We were really, I'm telling you, we were like, and we probably got too high from it. You know what I mean? Like, we were like, oh, nah, we ain't never seen this. We never seen them like this. And then that was like, nope, just when you thought it was.
Hey, let me ask you this, D-West. What the hell did Mario do to you? What the hell was going? What the hell was Mario? Because I know he did something. I ain't know what he did, but I know he did something. Because Mario always doing something.
Right. So what's crazy is like, the crazy thing about the NBA, at least the way we played, was like, because we were an on-ball screening team. So I had this, we did a lot of pick and roll in Indiana, a lot of pick and roll in New Orleans. So you develop this relationship with the guards, right? Like, you're going to hit these and pop these dudes and give them shots. So Mario was one of them dudes, he would wait to get his lick back.
See, I know Mario did something.
He'll wait till your back is turned or you're not looking and he'll be like, yo, what's up? Like, and it's whatever happened might have been 3 or 4 plays ago. So it was just one of them things where he was getting his lick back and I'm like, nah, bro, you tripping. Like, I just wanted to
I know he did something, bro.
Yeah, he was a competitor though, man. Like, I respect him because he competed, bro. He was one of them guys like, all right, well, if you're gonna screen me, I'm gonna get through with my elbow or my knee or something. I'm gonna figure out something.
I know he did something, bro. I know he did something. I never know what he did, but I know he did because he always doing it to us. We call him Reckless Rio. We call him Reckless Rio.
Oh my God.
Right.
This is a question for basically both of you guys at Biscayne, Maine. Is it devastating to see the mid-range game become somewhat extinct in today's NBA, considering you guys were so effective at it? I can ask both y'all this question.
I go first. Hell yeah. That shit ended my career. Listen, D-West, let me tell you something. I had about a good 4-5 years left.
Hold up. Ended his career, he played 27 years. Goddamn, he wants to play 33 years?
I ain't going to say ended. I ain't going to say ended. But that's the reason why, like, I stopped playing as much early. Because everybody wanted the threes in the mid-range. Like, that literally, like.
That's true.
I went from playing to, like, sitting on the bench because I didn't shoot threes just that fast, like a flick of a switch.
Right.
So, yeah, it bothered me. And I was also one of those guys where if I wasn't hitting mid-range, I damn sure wasn't a lob threat. I mean, I catch a few, but I ain't no roll to the lob big every time. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
It really impacted my game. I don't know if D West could speak on it.
Yeah, it's like I don't like the fact that it's off the table because it's a weapon, and like Kawhi using that. You know what I'm saying? Kawhi killing these dudes to death.
Get to a spot and popping
their ass. Figure out a way to guard it, but like, if you can shoot those shots and you practice making those shots, they're effective. You know what I mean? Like, they're a weapon, legit weapon. Now, again, it's like, I look at it like this, like, MJ shot mid-range joints. Kobe shot mid-range shots.
KD elite mid-range.
KD, I mean, even Dirk. Like, Dirk didn't shoot that many threes.
Nope.
Dirk did not live in a world where he was shooting 9, 10, 11 threes a game.
Yeah.
Dirk was killing you from the mid-range and the mid-range drives and the baseline attacks, right? So, like, some of the greatest players and the greatest scorers use the mid-range. So, I mean, I hate it because it takes away a viable skill set and a viable point of attack for a lot of guys. So, again, if you're not able to shoot threes and literally 80% of these dudes that shoot threes should not be shooting. Every NBA game you watch, you hear somebody say he's shooting 23% from the three-point line. Well, why the hell is he still shooting threes?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you hear that, and it's just like, you know it's a numbers thing. It's not a feel thing. And I think the mid-range is a feel thing, right? Like, you get to your spot and you shoot the ball, right? Like, it's a feel. You got to have a basketball feel when to stop there or get to the rim. Or get to the rim and move it. So I don't like the fact that they've taken it away. I find it comical that, some analytics dude could have the power to tell a guy who can make those shots not to shoot.
You know what though?
Athletics.
You know the thing is that I find the humor in You watch an NBA playoff game, the last 4 minutes, there are going to be a lot of mid-range shots.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's what I don't agree.
All that gets
point.
thrown away, and it comes down to KD getting to his spot, Kawhi getting to his spot, Paolo getting to his spot, Tatum getting to his spot. Like, at the end of the day, all the analytics goes away, and it's how we're going to win this game. And it's the last 4 minutes of every NBA playoff game, you see it. It's going to be an elbow jumper. It's going to be a logo jumper.
For 45 minutes, we want dunks and threes. And in the last 3 minutes, take whatever buckets you can.
Because it's like he said,
it's the ass backwards I've ever heard.
But it's like what he said, though. At the last 4 minutes of the game, you don't want a 23% dude shooting that three to win the game for you. And God forbid that guy who shoots 23% doesn't want to shoot it either.
And it also goes back to what he said about habits. Steph, Clay, they're shooting 400, 500, 600. They have the habits.
100%.
You must show up at 7:30 with no habits and start firing that up. It don't make no sense. But I agree with you, D West, man. It ain't just because personally it impacted my game, but just the overall game of basketball.
It's still there though. It really is, because like I'm telling you, when it comes down to winning time, it's the analytics are out. It's how do I get a bucket? Right. How do I get to the foul line? It's gonna be free throw line down. And
let's just call analytics what they are.
Athletics.
We're gonna use this as a scapegoat not to pay or play certain people. That's what we're gonna use the analytics for. We're gonna use this as an scapegoat not to pay or play certain people.
I wish they had analytics when I was coming through.
They definitely had analytics.
He even said it. Me and Ray used to laugh at it all the time. Like, you saw that the level of the game go and change. Like, when we first came through the league, if you didn't shoot 40% from three, you didn't shoot more.
You couldn't.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Like we go into it and call a guy a red dude, like a hot guy.
Right.
Shooting 32%, but he shoots 9 a game. You're like, that's not a hot guy.
Right.
That's a guy who should get off the rock guy.
Right.
Like we're running this guy off like 911. Like what? But when you look at the analytics of it, and Huey Brown was before his time on this part. Like if you shoot 33 from three, it's like shooting 50 from the field. So he'd break that down, but it still didn't make any sense why you shoot 12 of them.
Yeah. Right.
I mean,
right.
I wish I'd have shot 12 of them hoes. It sounds like all the questions are the same. Mr. West, as a Pacers fan, what was the missing piece that would have helped y'all get past the Heat those series you played them?
Ooh, Danny Granger.
Healthy Danny Granger.
We traded Danny. The first year we lost in the conference finals. Yep. He was hurt.
Yep.
Yes.
And then the second year we traded him.
Mm-hmm.
But we always we didn't have Danny, and Danny had great size.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
With the switches, the rebounding, his shot making, and then when he did play, he would always get an offensive rebound over D Wade because he was bigger than him, like literally because he was 6'9". And I remember Coach Vogel and I talked about it one time. We were like, "Yo, that moment right there could win us the series," and we never got him in that point to challenge. So Danny was probably the missing piece. We never got him when he was healthy.
Yeah.
And then that last year, they just weren't happy with the speed of his recovery.
Who they trade him for?
They made a decision.
Who did they trade him for?
Evan Turner, I think.
Yes. Danny ended up spending some time in Miami with us for a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, the injuries, but he spent some time with us. Good dude.
We touched on Kawhi a little bit, but there's another fan question. What was it like playing with a young Leonard?
He was Kawhi was quiet, but he was a worker. Like
had to be a worker, because let me tell you something. I watched him at San Diego State.
Yeah.
Fun fact: my brother was coaching at New Mexico at the time, same league, so we watched him a ton. He was like an 18% 3-point shooter in college.
Wow.
Might have been 20.
Wow.
But either way, it wasn't very good. He's turned himself, obviously mid-range is his still bread and butter, but
so that was his game, his midi.
Yeah,
get to his spots.
And just at the rim and just
right.
He was a dog. But quiet dog. Go ahead. I didn't want to interrupt you, but go ahead.
No. He just a guy that worked. And you could see the talent. Like he'd already won the championship or the MVP and all that stuff. So you could see the talent. Obviously with him it was just it's a matter of health. Like if the dude is healthy, he's one of the baddest dudes on the planet, right? So he's going to be able to create and get your team in a position to win every single night, no matter what.
Oh. Now our Elevate Your Game segment presented by Tommy John.
There you go. Good job.
We're going to make it real. We're going to make this real easy for you, D-West, because I think this is a question that all of us have. What do you think about Golden State's chances right now with Steph, but Jimmy being a little banged up? If Jimmy's not back, what do you think about their chances with Jimmy and without Jimmy?
Obviously with him, I think they got a shot. But depending on how healthy he is, I think that's going to determine, the outcome of their season. If he's healthy, they're going to be a tough out. But if he's banged up, I think, I don't know if those guys can replace and replicate what he does collectively. And it might just be a little bit much to ask.
I love Steph Curry. I think he's fantastic. I want to see him get to game 6 and 7 with these wearing on. If he does that, he's going to go to a whole new level for me. Because, if you even watch him now, watching it as a 45-year-old man, I'm exhausted for him. You know what I mean? Because every time he goes somewhere, they're hitting him. I'm telling you, bro, that dude's not human either. Because that's going to be a hard one, man.
He's going to give you a chance.
No, he definitely is.
But I think they need Jimmy scoring and playmaking. Jimmy Butler, man, I'll say this, bro. I remember when he first came in the NBA, man, and Jimmy was a straight-up power forward. He was. Like, when he was with Chicago, we were just kind of letting him roam. He wasn't shooting it.
Yeah.
Wasn't handling his stuff. He was undersized power forward. And what he's been able to develop into, basically a franchise-level guy, that can get you, in the conversation for a championship. It's been really incredible, but it also is a point of like, you can keep developing after you make it, right? Like after you make the NBA level, you can keep developing and growing into, your role, and again evolve into something like he's become, man, which is a dynamic and versatile player, man. Multiple positions and all that. It's been really dope to watch.
Double down on comfort and elevate your essentials this playoff season with distractionless underwear from Tommy John. It's the breathable, sweat-fighting foundation with 4 times more stretch than competing brands. Keep your head in the game and out of your pants with Tommy John. Man, playoffs got everybody uptight right now. Me, staying calm and cool with my Tommy Johns. Tommy John keeps me comfortable, confident, and cool at all times of the day. So ditch them tight, uncomfortable wedgie huggers that you've been wearing. Get you some Tommy John. Double down on comfort with Tommy John and get 25% off your first order right now at TommyJohn.com/OGs with promo code OGs. Again, that's 25% off at TommyJohn.com/OGs.
I'm glad you said that, because now in my second life in basketball and the agency stuff, third life, because I coached a little bit, Jimmy Butler's a prime example. It's not who you are when you get in the league. It's how do you get on the floor and earn minutes and gain trust and give opportunities, because everybody wants to come in and be someone different than they are right away, or, get 30 minutes and jack up every shot. Jimmy Butler came in at this, and as he evolved and grew, he became something completely different. And that's important for people to understand. Is like coming out there, just playing time is the most important thing. How do I impact winning?
Yeah, exactly. How do you impact winning? Can you help somebody win?
Exactly right.
I tell people all the time, your role might not be the role that you want, might not be the role that you train to prepare for in the summertime, but that's your role. Now, can you help me win in this role? Can you star in this role and help me win?
And one thing I can guarantee you, if you don't play, you're not going to play 10 plus years in the league, and you're not going to get paid. So you better figure it out. Yeah, I want to shoot 37 threes too. Yeah, and that wasn't who I was.
Right.
While we're talking about Golden State, who do you got coming out of the West, and who you got coming out of the East?
The East. I mean, if all things go right, I think it's going to be between Boston and Cleveland in the East.
That's going to be a great series. That's going to be a better series than people think.
In the West, I just don't know, man. Obviously, Golden State is dependent. If Jimmy gets right, then I think Golden State will have a shot too. I mean, OKC's good. I just don't know. I just don't know if they can hold up against, those more experienced teams, especially in that next where they might get through this one. but I'd be anxious to see what that second round matchup holds for them.
All right, so anyway, D West, man, what you think about NIL, overtime elite? You know, I know you got your hands in on some of that stuff, man. Talk to me about that, the NIL, the overtime elite, you know, the historical basketball league and all these things that you're doing.
Yeah. Well, we tried to create a league. We were the historical basketball league, and then we changed it to the professional collegiate league. We were part of that original like push. We jumped out here, and I was explaining this to Sonny a little bit. We probably were a little bit too public, rushed a little bit too fast. And ultimately, a lot of our ideas that we came up with, we saw implemented in overtime, and, even in the G League Ignite, and then obviously where college basketball has gone. And we had to have conversations at every level with some iteration of one of those groups. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of just kind of backed off once we saw like the way things were going. College was moving in at least the compensation direction, right? I still think the guys, it's still a professional system. So ultimately, it's not going to be right until these guys have a union that's representing them that can,
great point.
Make sure that their rights are being protected, and then everybody can get paid and they can go on about their business. So it's moving in the right direction, but you do need guys to have some protections, contractual protections and things like that, like we do, at the professional level. And ultimately, that's what it is. When you're talking about, I think I just saw the other day, somebody's got close to an $18 to $20 million roster in basketball for college.
Damn.
Oh no, these guys right now in the transfer portal.
$18 to $20 million roster.
Yeah. We're talking about three. I'll be honest.
They better win.
Here's what's happening. You guys really put a foot in the ass of the NCAA, that league, G League Ignite, overtime elite, because what NCAA did was reacted so quick they didn't have their ducks in a row.
Right.
And now you're looking at it like, I'm really having conversation with players now. Like, you're a mid first round pick, but I can get you $4 million to go play at such and such.
Right.
And that's dead ass. Those are real conversations now.
Absolutely.
And if you slide to 23. And I can get you 3.5. That's like being the 16th pick in the draft. Right. So, but what you're saying is exactly right. They got to start, if they really want this to be serious. We can't have transfer portal every summer. No. So you got to have, if you want to make $3 million a year to play college basketball, which is, God bless them. As an agent, I love it. $3-4 million. You got to sign a 4-year deal, and if you leave the NBA, your deal gets ripped up. But you can't be just doing this, because it's the highest bidder every summer.
Right, every summer, right.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. You got to stabilize it to a degree. And that's what I say. You create this union that will help organize it that way. And it could be, there's enough money for everybody to go around. The players can be paid because they're being paid now. And in a lot of ways, bro, I mean, it's really, because again, it's not based on some of their performance, right? If you look at some of the numbers, I'm like, man, these guys are getting a lot of money, for minimal production.
Yeah.
And I
think,
think,
so it's like, make sure there's some layer of protection in there for the player, because it's not, even though the guys are doing it and you want to give them the freedom, we know it's not the healthiest environment for them to be able to jump around year to year to year.
And I think if you ask every past player, they're happy as hell for these kids.
Yes.
This is where it's supposed to be. It's exactly what the direction it's supposed to be going in. But there also has to be some kind of transparency, right? Like, you should know what that player's making. Everyone assumes, he's making $4 million. Man, he ain't making $4 million. He's making what? But what is it? So if they start getting that transparency, like in the NBA, I knew exactly what you were making.
Yeah.
He knew exactly what he was making. He knew exactly what he was making. You got to start having some transparency, some organization, a union, like protect these kids. It's more to protect them, because right now you don't know what anyone's making.
Yeah.
But it's, it's good to see this game going like that, because that's where it should be.
Yeah.
Hey man, D West, last thing before we get out of here, man. You were one of the guys that's been very vocal about professional athletes using their platform and, speaking on injustice and different things like this. And you said, if we can't just dribble and shut up, if we don't use our voice, we part of the problem. I mean, because I know I was in a situation where I had to speak to the whole community of Miami, and I didn't plan for it. I was literally just chilling and got a call from the mayor, and I ended up speaking on the platform in front of the whole city. But just what catapulted you just to use your voice and your platform? Why is that important to you?
Well, I mean, it's kind of twofold, man. Like, you got to be able to connect, I think, with the broader community, right? Like, we're not living in this world outside of what's going on. So, as human beings, man, it's natural for us to react sometimes and feel empathy for what we're seeing. So, there was always a moment. I would always be at least, try to be honest in what I was feeling or what I was saying.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't whether or not anybody gave a damn about what I was saying. It was just, you feel sometimes compelled to just speak.
Mm-hmm.
And if your opinion is heard, fine. If it's not, that's fine too, because maybe somewhere in your subconscious just want to get it out. And so I was in that moment, right? But I never took, kind of what I was or what professional sports is out of context, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I was always the person that was like, okay, if I say something, I want to be able to direct somebody to a viable resource, or
mm-hmm.
a place they can get more information, or a place that they could get help, if they're seeking help or whatever. So that was the way that I would try to at least use my platform. And then obviously working with young people directly,
Yeah.
I always felt like I had a great impact, because there are a lot of things that I could say to a kid that maybe their dad or their uncle or their grandma, whatever, was saying to them, but it would resonate different when it came from me. So as much as it is important to speak, and to be knowledgeable about what's going on in the world, at the same time, we can use kind of who we are and the influence that we do have to impact young people that we can actually reach out and touch and communicate with. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's just, it's just a way to be, just a way to be connected and be tied in with people. Because ultimately, you want to be judged by the way you treat people, the way you interact with them, and the energy that they feel, when someone talks about that experience that you had when you cross paths.
Yes, sir.
Dope.
Yes, sir.
D, man, we appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah,
True
man.
OG,
Yeah,
brother.
Man, appreciate you, brother.
Congratulations on everything, too, man.
UD, I don't know if you remember this. It just came to me. So we was at rookie transition, right?
Uh-huh.
You remember this? It was at rookie transition. And they was playing, they had like this Madden tournament or something. And these that got to the finals, it was UD versus Bron.
Yeah.
There was somebody, I ain't gonna call the dude's name, but there was somebody there, right? So UD and Bron playing this game, but there's somebody else there who's like, he's like a LeBron cheerleader, right? And I'll never forget this, because me and Kurt Heinrich are behind y'all. We like playing pool, drinking, and talking to each other, because that's how we used to get down. Like, we just talking back and forth. And then Kurt like, yo, UD getting mad. And I'm like, what? So they playing, they having this crazy Madden game. And the dude just keeps like, yeah, bro, great job, bro. And UD like, yo, I'm gonna fuck you up. I'm like, oh. I'm like, yo, this ain't getting serious.
I remember that.
So Kurt like, let it go. Yo, maybe like 2 minutes later, dog, UD exploded. Yo, I'm gonna kill you. Like, it was some, we had to break them up. You don't remember that, bro?
Yes,
I know
remember
D West, but I don't want to tell you to do.
I remember that, and I had stopped with them video games too. I had left the video games alone, D West, because that shit had got too serious. That day, I'm saying all
to kill that dude, dog.
I stopped playing Madden after that.
Yo, I remember standing in front of you like, yo, we in the NBA now. Like, yo, you gotta chill.
I remember that, D West, and I stopped with that Madden after that. That's when I was like, this is too serious.
That doesn't surprise you one bit, that story.
I'm gonna tell Mike. I remember.
Yo, that's fun.
Well, appreciate you.
I appreciate you taking
Real
the
OG,
time,
man.
bro. Thank you.
Absolutely, man.
I'm gonna
Y'all
get your
good,
number
man.
from Sonny too, bro, because I just want to stay connected, man. You one of them dudes, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Regardless of anything like that, I just feel like somebody who I could talk to, I could learn from, I got questions.
That's
There ain't
what's
too
up.
many people that I can feel like I had those conversations with. So make sure I stay tapped in with you, bro.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, hit Sonny, bro. He got my number.
Appreciate you, homie. OG's
All right,
out.
yes, sir, Mike. See you, man.
West, appreciate you.